Breaking news, EDM star Avicii has died. He was found dead in the city of Muscat, that's in Oman. Avicii was born Tim Bergling in Sweden and was considered a pioneer of EDM, or electronic dance music. As a DJ, he sold out worldwide arena tours with hits like 2013's Wake Me Up. He retired in 2016, citing health reasons. No details have been provided about the cause of his death. Avicii was just 28 years old.
So, how did it happen? Or, a better question, why did it happen? And have we learned our lessons from this tragic story? My name is Hvll, I'm an independent artist and I'm here to show you the real music industry and pop culture. Subscribe to the channel and like this video because I'm sure you'll find something that you'll like on this channel. Let's begin. First, let's go back in time to when it all began. The future prodigy and EDM legend was born on September 8, 1989 in Stockholm, Sweden, to entrepreneur Claes Berling and actress Hvll. Even though Tim was a shy kid, his family was creatively supportive. At the age of 8, he started experimenting with music, and by the time he was 16, he had already started mixing his tracks in his newfound love, Hvll Studio. Even as a young teenager, Tim was writing melodic and heartfelt songs, but to release those songs, he needed a stage name. Choosing a stage name can be very difficult, not only because it's hard to come up with something unique and good, but also because the name you just came up with might be taken. This is what happened to Tim, so he went with Avicii, but with two I's. Around the age when most people in Europe go to college, Tim moved into a tiny Stockholm apartment and started working on music, sending it to blogs and record labels. Getting a record deal, even an indie record deal, is very hard. You have to be in the right place at the right time. But most importantly, your songs must sound professional before the record label even touches them, because they receive hundreds of demos every day. But with his determination and skills, success was inevitable. His first breakout hit was Sick Bromance in 2010, a melodic deep house track that quickly reached the top 20 in Europe, but it was only the beginning. In 2011, Avicii released his now iconic song called Hvll, and this song changed his life forever. What started as a simple song with vocals by Etta James turned into a true hit. After premiering at Tomorrowland, it took over the world, topped the charts in Sweden, won multi-platinum in the United States, and broke into Billboard Hot 100. All of a sudden, he wasn't just a DJ, he was a superstar with a name known around the world. He started headlining iconic venues and festivals, his songs were getting millions of streams on every platform, and he started collaborating with household names like David Guetta, Coldplay, Madonna, and Robbie Williams. His debut album True, which was released in 2013, only solidified his name in both mainstream and EDM. While the initial critics' reaction was mixed, fans loved this album. Wake Me Up, a mix of folk, country, and EDM, reached #1 in 22 countries and became the most searched song on Shazam with over 23 million searches. Tim wasn't just a producer who was at the top of the game. He was changing the way people saw EDM, and he was turning it into a genre where storytelling was just as important as powerful drops. And everything was changing rapidly. Just 5 years ago, he was a teenager sending out songs to anyone who would listen. And now, he was on his way to becoming a household name. But fame is a double-edged sword. At his peak, Tim played over 250 shows a year, sometimes as many as 300. Basically, he was either working in his studio or was on the road performing. But in 2012, Tim was put in a hospital in New York City for 11 days because of acute pancreatitis. And not long after that, he had his gallbladder and appendix removed. This is a very sensitive subject for many, because substance dependency, and in this case alcohol, is a very serious issue. A lot of people have or still struggle with it, and musicians are not safe from it either. Later, he will admit that drinking was routine for him, but he also recognized that he couldn't keep up touring and drinking at the same time, and that if you try to do that, you're bound to crash. In his 2016 documentary, Avicii True Stories, he said that the sound of party had become toxic. He was exhausted from constant partying, the expectations of always being the energetic DJ, happy guy, the one who's changing the genre, his best self. No one really cared about Tim. People wanted Avicii. He realized that he couldn't understand his own emotions anymore. All this led to a painful decision, and he retired from touring at age 26. "I know I am blessed to be able to travel all around the world and perform," he wrote. "But I have too little left for the life of a real person behind the artist." And instead of rushing to the studio, he quietly crossed the United States in an RV with his friends. Just Tim. No spotlight, no pressure, trying to find himself again. As he promised in his letter, he never gave up on music. He continued working on new songs in his studio and even recorded a deeply spiritual album called Tim before his death. although the album was finished by his friends and colleagues after his tragic passing. His struggles never really left him alone. Anxiety, alcohol dependency, and exhaustion followed him around. And just when everything seemed to be getting better, on April 20, 2018, the world lost Avicii. Or should I say, Tim Bergling.
One of the most famous DJs in the world has died. Avicii was found dead in the Middle East nation of Oman. Representatives for the Sweden-born DJ, whose name was Tim Bergling, said, "It is with profound sorrow that we announce the loss."
The news took the world by storm because no one saw it coming. A guy whose songs encouraged people to live a life you will remember was now gone because the world was just too much. His family released a statement calling him a fragile artistic soul that kept searching for meaning, happiness, and trying to figure out life. He couldn't go on any longer. He wanted to find peace. His father, Klaas, later described his death as a sudden storm. He said no one saw it coming. Tim was in a better place, beginning to heal, and he was getting better mentally, and yet something pushed him over the edge. The news hit globally. Charts exploded once again, fans mourned the loss, tribute concert played his music, and as much as people tried, you can't reverse death. The star had faded. So, have we learned the painful lessons? In a way, yes. I still remember the first time I heard Avicii. It felt like all of a sudden the world was a little brighter, a little happier, and a bit friendlier. EDM gave me hope. It gave a lot of us hope. Avicii's death is tragic, but pain shouldn't blind us to the reasons that pushed Avicii over the edge. It was a wake-up call that mental health matters, that help is always available. But the music industry acted all shocked and just moved on after a few months of pretending to care. Playing 300 shows a year is extremely hard. It breaks you down physically and mentally, especially if you're someone like Tim, shy, introverted, and emotionally aware. But Avicii's death wasn't in vain. As tragic as it was, his passing marked the beginning of a new era in music, one where artists and fans choose to fight back, be present, and not afraid to feel everything, as painful as it might get. One where vulnerability and saying "I need a few months off touring" is just as cool as your favorite drop. We owe that to Avicii. We owe it to ourselves and other artists. If you look at popular artists today, especially among my generation, Gen Z, the trend of facing problems head-on, choosing sobriety, and not letting labels control you is rising. Today, more and more artists expose the issues in the music industry, pushing it to be a better place, which aligns with what his family said in their statement. Tim was not made for the business machine he found himself in. But it's not just artists. A lot of people were shocked by the sudden death of a legendary producer who had inspired and moved millions of people. People started reaching out and going to therapy. Tim's family started a foundation called Tim Bergling Foundation. They work tirelessly on various fronts. They promote the importance of mental health and break the stigma surrounding mental health issues, build studios for young people, help schools, and much, much more. So despite his passing, his legacy will live on. His music will continue to inspire millions of people around the world, and his death has sparked a chain reaction in the industry. And we don't need more tragedies. We need changes. And that's how we light up the darkness.